Welcome to MethaThynk. You have the opportunity to hang out this evening and break down a different book. The book that I'm going to be talking about this time is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's unconventional approach to happiness. So, interesting book. I had to pick it up. You know, just the title itself makes you wanna like what's inside of this book. I probably need to know how to suddenly not give a fuck about stuff. So, author Mark Manson, he is like I guess the way that they described him is a superstar blogger with over 2 million followers. So that's interesting that that's even like a title in this day and age. It's like superstar blogger. Makes tons of money from writing on the internet. So cool dude. Very his approach to being philosophical is entertaining, to say the least. So his writing style is something that I definitely enjoyed. It was a good read while I was able to get a lot from the book also. So 5 things that I'll talk about that I got from this book that potentially you'll be able to benefit, so you don't have to read the actual book, but at least get the highlights of the book. So, bienvenido. Si no hablas español, pues te van a dar la oportunidad de hablar español esta vez y aprender un poco más. So, my name is Jesus Trujillo, and MethaThynk is a podcast that's kicking off. It's up and running, and so far it's going to be one of those projects that I'm excited to launch. So with anyone's support, the internet is pretty much where to make money, and also doing things that are fun for you, because working 9 to 5 is definitely not my pride and joy. It's a way to pay the bills and create a lifestyle, but I want to have more control than just have 9 to 5. So, all my podcast, MethaThynk, and let's jump into this book. Thank you so much for tuning in. Right off the bat, the first kind of things that I got out of the book is based on what he shared was we're all gonna die. So that's one thing that we all know, but we rarely think about. So it's it just put me in a state of mind where I was like, yeah, that's definitely true. So he just jumps into talking about we all have limited fucks to give in our lifetime, and most of the people are giving a fuck about so many things that aren't necessarily even worth their time. So, who's got the latest fashion? Who's the celebrity that's cheated on a husband or a spouse that cheated on a wife? He talks about too, like, who has the latest selfie stick, right? I never even knew that was a thing. So, the amount of fucks that we have, we don't have a lot. So he challenges the reader to think about, okay, what is it that we're actually giving a fuck about, and does it really matter? 5 years from now, the thing that I'm worried about right now, is it gonna matter? So it's an interesting approach of waking you up to where you are now in life. And if this is where you would want to be, great, keep doing what you're doing. But the reality is that if you're not, then, wake up. So stop giving a fuck about certain things that are not moving you forward. So the second thing that I picked up was, he says happiness is a problem. So that was the title of what he was trying to say. So what I understood after digging into it a little bit more was overcoming to become. So happiness is a problem. Most of the time when we are faced with challenges, and then overcome, push through it, we become happy, or at least we find inner happiness with ourselves because we were faced with adversity but figured a way to overcome it. So he says that struggle is necessary for happiness. Basically, it's a paradox. So think about it like this: like when you're at the gym working out, you're essentially facing that adversity of your muscles not wanting to do what you're trying to make them do. Like if you're running on a treadmill and you're pushing yourself to run like a couple miles, obviously your body is challenging you and letting you know, hey, like, what are you doing? But when you push through, you become healthier, you're more fit, so the reward is there for you. The other thing too he talks about is like failures. When you fail at something, it gives you an opportunity to reflect and analyze so that you can improve. What up? He also talks about like opening up to your insecurities. By opening up your insecurities more, it makes you more confident. So like if you're able to share like genuinely and more authentic, it makes you a better, more attractive person than someone that's trying to be someone that you can tell is not necessarily who they are. Build character, build confidence through adversity. Third thing that I want to talk about was failure is the way forward. Whatever struggle you're willing to endure, it actually creates you. So for example, relationships. If you're not able to endure a tough conversation or getting your feelings hurt, most people would just settle and kind of take the easy way out. So what he challenges it in that chapter is that by going through all these bad relationships or going through struggle and failing forward, trying something new and not getting it right the first time, it's a struggle, but essentially it's actually giving you an opportunity to be at a better place. So for example, with a relationship, if you've never gone through the breakups, the awkward conversations, the awkward silence, when you come into a relationship with someone that's worthy of you, you're able to recognize it and you're able to evaluate it and develop it and grow it. What he challenges it in that chapter is that by going through all these bad relationships or going through struggle and failing forward, trying something new and not getting it right the first time, it's a struggle, but essentially it's actually giving you an opportunity to be at a better place. So for example, with a relationship, if you've never gone through the breakups, the awkward conversations, the awkward silence, when you come into a relationship with someone that's worthy of you, you're able to recognize it and you're able to evaluate it and develop it and grow it. You're not going to be able to get what you really want. So if you don't go through the adversity, essentially you're settling. So that's an interesting point, because I think we can all improve in different areas. I know, for example, I can improve in many areas, and I'm happy to go through some of those challenges, even though they suck sometimes. But I know that going through those challenges essentially is making me a better person, and that's my goal, of course. Be a better person every day, a better person than I was yesterday. Número 4. Rejection makes your life better. Cuando te rechazan, te hace la vida mejor. ¿Qué será con eso? Vamos a ver. So, what he's talking about, he's talking about rejection. So, for example, if we don't reject something, or basically the importance of saying no, we need to reject something, otherwise we stand for nothing. So it's like an interesting way of saying, like, if you don't stand for something, essentially you don't stand for anything. So when he says is rejection makes your life better, he's essentially saying if we don't understand like what we value in life and anything that comes into our life and whatever, basically if we don't recognize where we're spending our time and reject the things that are not putting us in a better state, a better, fulfilling our goal, essentially we're not rejecting. So what he's explaining is if we have a value for something, let's say to graduate college, to get the promotion, have a better relationship with like my girlfriend, my wife, my son, my family, whatever it is, if we don't say no to other things, those other things are going to be robbing us from our time to actually do what's important. But the value of graduating is more important than those beers. So by understanding the value of something, you can reject other things. So rejection makes your life better. Number 5 and last one is reflection. At some point in the book, he talks about his friend who him and his friend were like really good friends. They've known each other for a very long time, but was at a party, and his buddy decided to like jump over a cliff into like a river or something. But he was so drunk that him trying to swim, he cramped up, and unfortunately he passed away. And it was so dark, they just heard the screams and the splashing in the water, but they didn't know who it was down there. So Mark talks about his friend, and that was one of his worst experiences because he lost one of his best friends, basically like his brother. And he said that he had dreams of him like reoccurring, but one of the dreams that he had like post 6 months after his death was him, Mark, the author, with his friend who passed away in a jacuzzi. And obviously it's kind of funny because he laughs in this book and he's like, yeah, my dead friend that passed away and I were in the jacuzzi hanging out. But the conversation he had with him in his dream was, Mark was apologizing to his friend because he basically said, hey, I'm sorry you died. And his buddy kind of just basically, he doesn't remember the exact words, but he basically said, why do you care that I'm dead when you are still so afraid to live? And I was like, whoa, that was like a smack in the face, because he literally said he woke up crying from that dream. So his friend, he basically said, hey, I'm sorry you died. And his friend was like, why do you care that I'm dead when you are still afraid to live? So that was just like a very, very, very deep question. And that was one of the things that he, in his mind, his revelation in his book was that someone else's death gave him permission to live. So he basically was awakening to the idea that if he doesn't take control about the fucks that he's given about in his life and stops caring about what people think about him, whatever, and actually focuses on what's important to him, that's exactly what the book is about, is you getting the opportunity to shock yourself into reality, into existence, and start to chop away of the fucks that are just being thrown out there very carelessly, because we only have a limited time in this earth. And if we can understand that we're going to die, then why do we care about what my friend thinks or what my neighbor thinks or what my boss thinks or what about this, what's on TV, what's the latest gossip, and basically take control of that so that you're able to move forward and actually pursue what you're on this earth for. So hope you guys enjoyed my book review. Definitely add comments, suggestions. Follow my Instagram, MethaThynk, and you can also follow my personal Instagram. It's tru.jesus, so true.jesus Instagram, and appreciate all the support. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next video, and auf Wiedersehen. Hasta luego.
Francia, Colombia, me gusta Freeze. Y Balvin, Willy William, me gusta Freeze. Los DJ no mienten, le gusta mi gente y eso se fue muy bien. No le bajamos, mas nunca paramos, es otro palo y blanco. ¿Y dónde está mi gente? Me fue a la